Welcome to part 2 of the most popular cocktails according to the internet. If you missed part 1, check out the link in the description below. But these are the top 10 of those 20. There's a few surprising ones in there, so let's get straight into it. Cocktail number 10 of the most popular cocktails on the internet is the Vieux Carre. This honestly would have to be up there with, it is in the top 3. I recently did a video on my top 3 cocktails. I'll leave a link to that in the description or up in the links right up here. Fantastic drink, excellent spirit forward drink. There's definitely not enough spirit forward drinks in this compilation, in this top 20 list. But hey, I didn't decide the order. So what we have here is rye whiskey, sweet vermouth, cognac, and Benedictine. Benedictine being a sweet honeyed herbal liqueur made by Dominican Order monks. Is that what it stands? I don't know what it stands for. Anyhow, so I'm going to start with the rye whiskey, 3/4 ounce, 22.5 ml, Rittenhouse rye, 51% rye, the mash bill. So a little bit spicier, especially in comparison to most bourbon whiskies. Cognac, I'm using Pierre Ferrand. This is their Cru de Cognac, 3/4 ounce, 22.5 ml, and likewise 3/4 ounce, 22.5 ml for the sweet vermouth, Coqui di Torino. And last ingredient, well, apart from bitters of course, is the Benedictine. The herbal liqueur. 10 ml, 1/3 of an ounce. If I was a little bit heavy-handed with this, I would not feel bad. Then we have 2 dashes of Peychaud's bitters, triplet for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And a dash of Angostura. 1, 2, 3. Strain it over a large rock and garnish with a twist of lemon. Nice twist over the top. They have a Vieux Carre. Time for the Margarita. 1.5 ounces, 45 ml of tequila. Then we have 3/4 ounce, 22.5 ml of Cointreau, or an alternate triple sec. Fresh lime juice, 3/4 of an ounce, 22.5 ml. 5 ml, 1 bar spoon of agave syrup. Just a touch of sweetness in there. We have 2 drops of saline, ice, and shake. I've got a salt rimmed glass. There you have a Margarita. On to the last word. Number 8 of our top 20. So we're starting to get closer to the tail end, and I bet you guys are getting more and more intrigued as to what the top 5 are. This one here, dry gin. I'm using 3-fold dry gin and maraschino liqueur, Luxardo maraschino, green chartreuse, strong, potent, 55% ABV, strong herbal liqueur, and lime juice, fresh lime juice. This is I'm trying to hide this from the camera because it's a yellow looking lime. It's green on the inside, but it's yellow on the outside. So it is lime, in case you try and call me out. Start by chilling a glass and grab our cocktail shaker. Now, typically this is an equal part cocktail of 3/4 ounce of each ingredient, but this is the specs off Difford's Guide. For those who have just joined in this 2-part series, I'm getting the top 20 cocktails based off views off Difford's Guide. So therefore I'm sticking to the specs that they have on their website, which differ a little bit to my specs that I like to use, and but I thought it'd be fun to try. So we've got a dry gin, 1 ounce, 30 ml, then maraschino liqueur, 20 ml, 2/3 of an ounce. Yeah, so as I said, this is where it differs. Rather than the equal part measures, it's 1 ounce, then 3/4, 3/4, 3/4. 3/4 ounce, 22.5 ml of green chartreuse. Hopefully you guys can still get a hold of this stuff. I know it's been pretty hard to find. 20 ml, 2/3 of an ounce. Add ice and then give it a shake for 12 seconds. Again, it has been a while since I've had a last word. Oh, the smell is intoxicating. Now, Difford's recipe likes to call for a little bit of orange oils expressed over the top. And then, if I can find my maraschino cherries, it's garnished with a single cherry dropped into the glass. There we have, at number 8, the last word. Next up, we have the Mai Tai. So we have it's a rum cocktail, as most of you will probably know. I'm using Appleton Estate signature rum. It's a Jamaican rum, a little bit of age. It's really common for people to play around with different rums and doing different combinations. I'm just sticking with one rum for today. Pierre Ferrand dry curacao. We've got orgeat, and then I have rich syrup and lime juice, fresh lime juice, ready to go. So this particular recipe calls for 2 ounces, 60 ml of aged Jamaican rum, then followed by orange curacao. If you want to, you could use a triple sec, Cointreau, Grand Marnier if you wanted to, but I prefer using a dry curacao. It's a little bit drier and it's got a little bit more like spiciness to it. We've got 15 ml, half an ounce, and then 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime juice. Then 10 ml, 1/3 of an ounce of orgeat, which is an almond syrup. I'm using Liber & Co. And 7.5 ml, 1/4 ounce of rich syrup. So a 2-to-1 syrup, 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. Ice, give it a shake, and I'm gonna serve it on pebble ice. Bit of a shorter shake as I'm serving on pebble ice. It's going to dilute a little bit further. And garnish with a lime hull that you've just used. Ooh, try not to overflow it. Oh, that's so tasty. And a mint sprig, which I'm going to head to the garden to go grab. And coming in at number 6, we have the Picante della Casa. This is the Soho House tonic. I don't really know a lot about it, but Soho House, I believe, is a chain of bars or restaurants. And this is their #1 selling cocktail. And it's essentially a Tommy's Margarita, but with a little bit of spice, a little bit of kick. It's got some muddled jalapeno in there and coriander, or for the Americans in the room, cilantro. So a slice of jalapeno into the tin, and then 3 sprigs of cilantro. Let's go a little bit more. Just a brief muddle. Then the recipe calls for 50 ml, 1 2/3 ounce of a Reposado tequila. The website did say Patron specifically, probably more so because they're sponsored by Patron. I'm not sure if it was the original ingredient in the cocktail. Then we have fresh lime juice before I get excited and put the agave in. So 30 ml fresh lime. So yeah, Tommy's Margarita being Reposado tequila, lime juice, and agave. So it's a pretty simple riff. 1 ounce, 30 ml of lime juice, 20 ml, 2/3 of an ounce of agave syrup. I love my spicy margaritas, and I like incorporating like fresh herbs, basil, mint, cilantro in this case, into cocktails. So this is gonna be great, I think. The jalapeno. Oh, jalapeno, cilantro. That's a good combination. That is fine strained over fresh ice. Probably have to top that up with a little bit more ice. I didn't actually take note of the garnish when taking notes for this recipe, but I'm gonna go with what's in the drink. A little slice of jalapeno and a sprig of cilantro. They have the Picante della Casa. Ooh. Now we're on the home stretch and it's time for cocktail number 5, the Espresso Martini. Vodka, coffee liqueur, and coffee. Nice and simple. Some people might like it a little bit sweeter, so you can add a little bit of sugar, especially given the fact that I'm using Mr. Black, which is a drier coffee, especially in comparison to something like Kahlua. Saline solution, a couple of drops of saline, and a little secret, not really a secret, but a little expression of lemon peel over the top works really, really well with the coffee. Now, if you have a coffee machine, you can use espresso, of course. My coffee machine is broken, so therefore I've got cold drip coffee, which does an excellent job. So this recipe calls for 1.5 ounce, 45 ml of vodka. I'm using Grey Goose. 30 ml, 1 ounce of Mr. Black cold brew coffee liqueur. Now, of course, if you want to, you can add a little bar spoon of Demerara syrup if you like. And then we've got espresso, cold drip coffee, 2/3 of an ounce, 20 ml, and then 2 drops of saline solution. Now, if you want to, you can express the lemon oil over the top of the drink. I would prefer to integrate it, so therefore I'll express the lemon oils into the drink itself. And then ice and shake. Secret to a good crema. I'll leave a link to a video up here which describes details on how to do it, but it's not too much of a secret. Good quality coffee, good ice, good size pieces of ice. If you use small ice, it'll just be watery and won't agitate it and produce a nice foam. It's not the finest foam I've seen going around, but it was fairly effortless. The shake was fairly effortless. I didn't put too much elbow grease into it. And then garnish with 3 coffee beans. Actually, the longer you leave it, the better that's looking. I'm pretty happy with that. The Espresso Martini. Number 4, cocktail number 4 is the Amaretto Sour. Now, I've done this on the channel before. I prefer my other recipe. In saying that, I haven't actually tried this one yet, but I know I prefer the other one. I'll link to that and I'll tell you my reasons why, but I will link to that so you can check out the cocktail, check out the recipe. I know for a fact it's definitely better. Now for this one, because we're not adding any whiskey, we're not adding any bourbon whiskey like the other recipe, it's just straight up Amaretto. Amaretto is very sweet, so therefore I wouldn't use simple syrup with this. And also I prefer to use the Luxardo Amaretto, which is drier and a little bit higher ABV than the Disaronno that I have. In saying that, Disaronno is the same as this, if not higher, in other countries, just not Australia. So, recipe, but I still like the flavor of Luxardo Amaretto. More spice driven. It's still a sweet liqueur, in saying that. So, Amaretto Sour, 60 ml, 2 ounces of Amaretto, fresh lemon juice, 1 ounce, 30 ml, and then half an ounce, 15 ml of egg white, or in my case, an egg white replacement. Miss Bitters Miraculous Foamer. And then the recipe did call for spraying it over the top, the aromatic bitters, but I'm gonna, 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna add it into the drink itself. Ice, shake for 10 to 12 seconds. Now, of course, if you're using egg white, I recommend dry shaking or reverse dry shaking. In the case of foaming bitters, foaming agent, I don't feel the need. And as you can see, looks pretty textural as it is. Then garnish with a lemon wheel and a maraschino cherry. They have an Amaretto Sour. Prost. All right, we've finally made it to the top 3 of the 20 most popular cocktails, and it's time for a Naked and Famous. Another simple, equal part cocktail. I believe it was a riff on Last Word. That's how it came about. Mezcal, yellow chartreuse, so more of a sweeter, honeyed version of its older, bigger brother, green chartreuse, and Aperol, then followed by lime juice. So shaken cocktail, equal parts, 3/4 ounce, 22.5 ml, each ingredient. Shake it, serve it. Beautiful. Literally on my last legs of the ice. Naked and Famous, another personal favorite. Now, if you would like to garnish this, you could put a wedge of lime on the edge there, but I underestimated how much citrus I need today, and I've run out of limes. So there you have the Naked and Famous Mezcal, Yellow Chartreuse, Aperol, and fresh lime juice. Cheers. Now, a very well-loved cocktail sitting at number 2, the Gin Basil Smash. It's just a gin sour with the addition of muddled or shaken basil into the cocktail. It adds a nice herbal note, and it's a fantastic drink. So I'm gonna get straight into it. I'll put a nice sprig aside for the garnish. Nice healthy piece of basil. And then for this, don't even really need to get rid of the stalks. Just gonna, there's like 10 to 12 leaves in there, assortment of sizes. If you want to, you can muddle, but I think if you have a hard enough shake, then it imparts enough flavor, imparts enough color on the drink. So it's not necessary, but if you want to, you can, of course. Now I'm using threefold dry gin, 60 ml, 2 ounces, then 22.5 ml, 3/4 ounce of lemon juice, and then 10 ml, 1/3 of an ounce of rich syrup. So 2-to-1 syrup. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a harder shake so I can tear apart that basil, impart that flavor on the drink. Now you definitely want to double strain this one because of all those basil pieces. So as you can see, you don't really need that muddle because you can simply see by the color, there's plenty of basil imparted on that drink. Mint sprig as garnish. Now you have Yorgmeyer's, I hope that's how you pronounce it, Yorgmeyer's Gin Basil Smash. All right, the grand reveal that you've all been waiting for, the #1 cocktail, the most popular cocktail on the internet according to Difford's Guide. It's a little bit skewed. It's skewed to a UK audience. It is the Pornstar Martini. It's like the most searched cocktail in the UK for the last like 10 years running or something silly like that. So naturally it's gonna be the top, it's gonna be the #1 cocktail most viewed on a UK website. This recipe here, I'm using a DIY passion fruit liqueur, which I tested out. I made it from a fellow YouTuber's channel, Dan Fellows. I'll leave a link to that recipe in the description below so you can check it out. I tweaked it slightly, added a little bit more acid to it just to make it pop a little bit more. But let's get into the drink. So the recipe I have, or the recipe I'm using I should say, calls for 1.5 fresh passion fruit, but these are little baby passion fruits. So I'm gonna go 2.5, and then the other half is just saved for the garnish because you're gonna float that into the drink itself. So make sure you pick out a nice half that's worthy of being a garnish. So how do you guys feel about this being the #1 most popular cocktail? Do you think there's another more deserving cocktail? What's your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. I'm keen to hear. Arguments ensue in the comments. So I'll put that garnish aside. I've got the fresh passion fruit and measuring out vanilla vodka, 2 ounces, 60 ml. Then passion fruit liqueur, Decaipa, Passoa, Chinola. Chinola is that, yeah, that's the one you want to use. Passoa is like fluorescent pink. Passion fruits aren't that color. Passion fruit liqueur, 1/2 ounce, 15 ml. Vanilla sugar, 1/2 ounce, 15 ml. And fresh lime juice, 1/2 ounce, 15 ml. So vanilla and passion fruit are the two flavors that are gonna pop in this drink. So obviously got vanilla in the vanilla sugar, you got vanilla vodka, you got fresh passion fruit, you got passion fruit liqueur. You're doubling down on all those flavors. And of course, if you would like to, optionally, you can serve this with a side of champagne, and it's designed to cleanse your palate. You're meant to have a sip of the cocktail, then the champagne. Completely up to you if you want to include it or not. Garnish, nice and simple. Passion fruit floated. And There's a different spec to what I've made in the past, so. That's pretty good. Thanks for watching, guys, and make sure you check out the links in the description below, and I'll see you soon for another cocktail video. Cheers.